Welcome back to another edition of Let's Not Try to Burn the House Down. So I want to do a little out of my comfort zone thing. Not necessarily out of my comfort zone, but it's a thing I saw on TikTok that was one of those like, look at my recipes, it looks so delicious. But they actually didn't put the recipe in underneath the picture. It had over 1 million views. It had thousands of comments. I saw one of the comments says, "Oh, they put the recipe down in the comments." I scrolled through hundreds and I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But after I had to think about it, I was like, hey, I'm a cookologist. I can figure this stuff out. So I got the basic ingredients and I worked my way through it. So first we're going to take our lovely chicken breast here. I'm gonna trim it and dice it. All right, we got that all diced up. Now there's one thing to point out, that if you're not into the cooking world, what we're looking at here is a lot of cloves of garlic. When they say 1 clove of garlic, it's 1 clove of garlic. They vary in size, so if you pull one off and it's really small, you might need to try to find a bigger one. I mean, there's probably like 12 of them in here, and the overall head of garlic is pretty cheap. Now the recipe called for garlic butter. I don't have garlic butter, so I'm going to make my own. So I'm going to crush this, which, yes, I know it's not a vegetable knife, but I have to do the dishes, and I'm not going to wash a bunch of stuff that I don't have to. So we'll break that out right there. And then I'm very peculiar, so I cut the head and the tail off, toss them to the side, and I'm just going to rough chop that. I'm not going to make you watch me chop all this up, but I'll chop this up really finely, and then I'm going to have my skillet. I'm going to put about 4 tablespoons of butter in it, and I'm going to dump it in it, low heat, and let it simmer for a minute so I get my garlic butter. So I got this on a 2, kind of low heat, because I don't want to scorch the butter. Just gonna let it melt in and let that garlic start kind of infusing itself into the butter. And I know it's a lot of butter. I put 4 tablespoons in there because after I get done frying, I want to use leftover butter to kind of make the cheese sauce. The recipe calls for Cajun seasoning. I haven't really found a great Cajun seasoning that I just am in love with, but I do love Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, and I used that last time. It wasn't so like overpoweringly spicy, so the kids could eat it too. And it really is great on everything. I fell in love with this stuff when I was in Iraq, trying to make my ramen not taste like ramen, just so I could have a little bit of variety. And we all use this a lot. And other than that, the only other seasoning is a little paprika. We're just going to do about 2 tablespoons of this. We'll coat all this chicken, add in about a tablespoon of this, kind of just mix it all together. And then when all this is melted and incorporated, we're just going to throw that over in here, fry it till it's golden brown, pull it out. All right, we got the garlic is starting to stick a little bit, so I went ahead and spin it around a little bit just so we can incorporate the oils that are coming out of that garlic into the butter. I've already coated my chicken with both Creole seasoning or Cajun if that's what you prefer, and paprika, just nice even coat, nothing else. The salt from the butter is going to kind of soften this up, and the butter will kind of give it like a little savory taste. So we're going to toss this in here and just keep cooking it until it's golden brown, then we'll pull it out, and then the what's left in here is what we'll use for our cheese sauce. Okay, did forget one thing. I'm going to cut this into thirds to put in there in the skillet because I don't want to crowd my skillet. That'll kind of lower the temperature when I put everything in there, and I don't want it to take up forever to cook. So I'm going to put little bits in here, like I said, cut into thirds. That way I can actually cook faster. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. We got the first batch pretty much done. I forgot that when I was playing with this that I had more chicken breast. So this does seem like it has a little bit of extra seasoning in it, and I'm only cutting it into halves. I did increase the heat up to just a little below medium. And so we're gonna get this off. We're gonna put the rest of it in there, and then we will finish it up. Get it out into the plate as well, let it kind of rest, and then we'll make our creamy cheese sauce. So I've got all my chicken done now. When I looked at the recipe online, it said to start my noodles first. I did that last time when I was practicing with it, and they got done before everything else got done, and they were all mushy. I know if I drained them though, they would be all dried out. So I about to start my cheese sauce. So I'm going to start my noodles now. Since this is a chicken and pasta dish. So some of the slices burnt to the bottom, that not a big deal. We've reduced the heat back down to just a little bit above low, not medium low, but just a little above low. I'll let this cool down because we don't want it to, I'm gonna actually remove from the heat for a minute, because I want to pour in about a cup of half and half, and then 4 ounces of cheddar cheese, 4 ounces of Parmesan cheese, and that's going to make our cheese sauce. Okay, so I went ahead and put in the half and half, and I'm just gently stirring around. I'm trying to deglaze the bottom, get those spices off, and into the half and half. The recipe actually called for heavy cream. I'm just using half and half because I had it on hand. And I mean, we already got a ton of calories in here, so I'm gonna try to cut it down just a little bit because I'm not trying to get my winter weight in just yet. So the half and half has deglazed the bottom of the pan. We're getting it up. You can maybe, I don't know if you can see it or not, there's a little steam coming off from it. We want it up hot. And I'm just gonna start slowly. So I've mixed together my Parmesan and my cheddar. I'm just gonna put a little bit at a time. Same reason like when I said don't crowd your pan for the chicken. If you jump it in here, the temperature of the half and half is gonna go down, and you're just gonna get this big ball of blah instead of a delicious cheese sauce. So we're gonna add a little bit of time, stir it. You can use a whisk, you can use whatever you got, fork, whatnot, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna stir it slowly until that cheese is incorporated. Keep adding in until we're out of cheese. All right, we have all of our cheese incorporated. It's nice and liquidy, which is what we want. And just waiting on my noodles to get done here. I am going to go ahead and put my chicken in here for just a second. Just toss it around. Just a little coating, and then we'll pull it back out in the bowl. And then when this is done, we'll plate it up, and you can see the final product. And there it is in all its deliciousness and glory. I did garnish the little Italian seasoning to kind of bougie it up for y'all. But do what you will, it's delicious just as it is. I hope y'all enjoy.